Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods, aka Rearview Mirror, because the glasses are on once again.
You're not really rear view mirror anymore, though. You had
Why?
to actually raise your head for us
Nah,
to see the
just a
light.
pinch right there, just a pinch.
No,
Had to switch
but
lights. If you saw yesterday's episode slash earlier today's episode, me and the ring light were not getting along. So
yeah,
had to
no. And if
switch.
they didn't see it, I'm gonna post it.
I know, I know, I know you are.
I just didn't get to it today.
Yeah, I know what kind of co-host I got. It's okay.
The same kind I got.
Anyway, let's get started. So, something a lot of people been calling for is finally happening. The FTC is investigating. Wait a minute, you didn't introduce yourself.
You didn't let me. You didn't let me. You know, side effects of being an A mic.
I'm not the A mic. There is no A mic on weeknights.
Whatever.
There's
People will
there's
listen to
A1
it.
and A2.
All right. Well, right. A1 and A2. Somebody's
Yeah,
got to be A2.
me. I'm A2.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B, aka cool grandma, but not really. Yes. Also, your B mic. And
No, don't feed into the narrative of their bullshit. We are equals on this show.
sure, if they knew the real reason why you lead the topic, then it would be.
Which,
They
by
don't.
the way, could have been changed. We just are
Well,
creatures of habit.
yes, and I'm trying to work on my tech, so that's part of the problem. But
That's why
which,
starting tomorrow, Dash will be leading the topics.
sure,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, something that a lot of us have been waiting for is finally happening.
hmm
The FTC is investigating Ticketmaster over bots illegally reselling tickets. Now, maybe you weren't waiting for that specifically, but I know that just like us up here, y'all have been waiting for the FTC to step in and see what in the
yeah,
hell is going on at Ticketmaster. And so it says here,
yeah.
this is via Bloomberg.
hmm
It says Live Nation Inc.'s Ticketmaster is being probed by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission over whether it's done enough to keep bots from illegally reselling on its platform. The investigation is focused on Ticketmaster's compliance with a law meant to prevent automated ticket resales, according to people familiar with the matter. The probe is at advanced stages, and a decision whether to bring a case could be made within weeks, said some of the people who asked not to be named, discussing a confidential investigation. It says the probe is focused on whether the company is following the Bots Act, a law designed to prevent automated ticket resales. The investigation is in advanced stages, same thing I just said. With a decision expected within weeks, a settlement is possible. But if the FTC moves forward and Ticketmaster loses, Live Nation could face billions in fines. Billions with a B. That's it. That's the story.
I'm glad they're doing this.
Same.
I'm tired of trying to buy concert tickets and being like, what? Why does it cost so much? I mean, the tickets, before you even get to the resale, the tickets on a pre sale, actual
Regular
sale
sale.
are already through the roof.
Right. Oh,
Now,
snap.
I can't say too much, and I can tell you off pod, but I have it on good authority that the Ariana Grande tickets, for example, that
Uh-huh.
came out last week. The initial range in the pre-sale was from $70 to $700, I believe.
Sounds about
That
right.
was, yeah, and that was supposed to stay like that in the regular sale. This week, the tickets have, you know, there's no regular tickets anymore. So you go to
Of course not.
Ticketmaster and all the resale tickets, which what I can say is my niece has been stalking Ticketmaster for the past week. And she's like, I can't even tell you guys how much it costs now because
Sounds like us.
it's it is through the roof. So much so, like going from people paying again $100, $150 for a ticket a couple days prior to having to pay minimum $700, $800. This stuff is crazy, and it's happening with everything to the point where Ariana Grande had to come out and say, "Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I see what's going on. I gotta try to figure something out. I don't know what to do." Because as an artist, like we're thinking about ourselves as consumers, but even as artists, like the first thing that people think is it's your fault.
Yes.
They don't even really think about Ticketmaster and Live Nation. They think about Ariana Grande or Beyonce or Kendrick Lamar or Lady Gaga and think, what are you doing? I'm trying to come see you and you're making it really hard for me to do that.
Correct.
So
That is what
this
people think.
yeah, so this needed to be addressed. This needs to be addressed because I think people
Yeah.
are very much willing, as bad as the economy is, I think people are very much willing to go to concerts if they're able to, but it's becoming harder and harder to do so. And then you gotta be in a queue and you gotta wait. You gotta be number 4,995 and wait and hope that when you get it, the system doesn't glitch and you don't have to get back in line and all of that just to
Right.
get tickets early. And that's just not realistic.
No.
So I'm all for this. Go get them.
Me too. I want to go on record and say I'm in full support of an investigation of Ticketmaster. I say don't stop at the bots. Keep digging. As they said on The Wire, follow the money.
Follow the money. Follow the money. Because somebody's
That is
making a hell
my
of a lot of money.
buku bucks.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Also, I would like to know, maybe I missed the memo, but when did Live Nation purchase Ticketmaster?
We knew this. We talked about this. I don't remember exactly when it is, but I can look it up.
No, it's fine. I just feel like I missed that memo. But if you say we talked about it, I believe
We
you.
did.
I trust you. No problem. We could move on. But
We
that's it. I
did.
don't have a real take. I'm in full support. I say find out more. Don't stop at the bots.
Yeah. It was way before we started potting, actually. But I
Okay.
don't really think, but I think we've talked about it on our pod before that they are one company. So,
Okay.
yeah. But it was
All right.
back in 2010.
Oh, buku- way before we started potting. You're right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, you were
Um,
potting though.
in 2010, no, I wasn't.
No? Oh, my bad.
No.
I just feel like you've been potting forever, you know?
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
feel like you was one of the first ones potting, you know what I mean? You and a
Sign
select
me.
few that I went with.
Somebody. Right.
And she's back, y'all.
I mean, I've been working. Since 2018, I've been potting. Yeah.
Yep. So
Speaking of
you've
podcasts,
been a boss.
yes, absolutely. The biggest one that you've seen thus far.
But are you bigger than Dame Dash?
Who is, really?
And that's the question for the day, folks. All right, folks, a lot to talk about regarding Dame Dash in the last 24 hours when we're recording this. So today is Tuesday, September 16th, when we're recording this, and a lot has happened in the last 24 hours. So the first thing is Dame Dash went on Breakfast Club. Again. That's right. It was a rematch, but not really. And so Dame Dash went on Breakfast Club to clear up a lot of the things that have
Mhm.
been on the internet and that some of the people on Breakfast Club have said on the Breakfast Club and on social media. And so this was supposed to be their, what do you call it? A verbal war or a verbal sparring match? Something like that.
Verbal
A
sparring.
verbal fight. I don't remember. Something like that. But whatever. This was supposed to be Dame speaking for Dame on behalf of Dame to Charlemagne and Envy. I don't know where to start because this shit was weird and this shit went on for way too long. I know it was an hour and like 18 minutes. I watched the whole thing and I did it all in one
Yeah.
shot. I'm proud of myself. There's a couple of times I almost walked away and I said, no, you're going to thug it out and watch this whole thing. And
Not
so I
you,
did.
not you getting up and walking away like Dame, and then coming back.
Exactly. Exactly. When I went to get up, I saw Dame get up. I said, no, sit down, both of y'all. Me and Dame, both of you sit down.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll start at a random spot, which is Dame. I too love Godfather 2. And I think, yes. No, Godfather 2 is the
It's a great
shit.
movie.
When I tell you
It's a great.
Godfather 2 is the shit,
It's great. It's
Godfather
great.
2 is the shit.
Yes,
And
this is
so,
true. I am in agreement.
one of my favorite movies of all time, a movie I watch all the time, like
Mhm.
all the time. So, yes, he's correct. Michael Corleone did a lot of those things, and it seemed like Dame did a
Mhm.
lot of those things. It seemed like Dame did take the notes from the
Mhm.
movie and apply them in many different ways. Um, so that's where I'm going to start. And I have a little piece of advice for everyone involved. The next time Dame goes up there, and he'll be back, that's for sure. Let's have Charlemagne not be part of the interview. Because it's clear that Charlemagne and Dame Dash cannot behave themselves when they're together.
Yes.
It was like I was watching two kids in the schoolyard at one point. It didn't start that way. But at one point, it was like two kids in a schoolyard. And
Very
no one
child.
was stopping either person. No one was stopping either person. And so a lot of just silly stuff was being said and done. And it was like, we don't need this. So I'm going to advise a piece of advice for everyone involved. All of the co-hosts, all the producers, Dame Dash, even his OG. The next time that Dame Dash goes up there, let's have Charlemagne not be in the room. And then perhaps, maybe, there can be a real conversation, a fruitful conversation, a productive conversation. Because really a lot of nothing happened in this interview, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In
No,
my
that's.
opinion,
I think that's a
we were
fact.
supposed to get, okay, listen, if you say so, then cool. But I think that a lot of nothing got accomplished. I think Dame Dash went up there and he had an agenda and Breakfast Club had an agenda and nobody really got their agenda off. That's my opinion. I think
Hmm.
I think Dame's
Okay.
plan went left. I think Breakfast Club plan went left. And I
You
think
think so?
as consumers, I do. And I think as consumers, we didn't really get the information we were looking for. Not in full. Because every time it sounded like we was about to get a piece of information, some nonsense started happening.
That's true. But
So,
sorry.
no, please, come on.
I was just gonna say I don't. I think the Breakfast Club achieved their agenda. I think their agenda let the to let the bullshit fly. I think that was their
Well,
agenda, and I think they achieved that. I don't think that they really thought they were going to get answers. I don't think that they thought that it was going to be a productive conversation. I think they proved that the moment they started laughing at everything Dame said. I think they were very much there for the comic relief. I think they were there because they knew it would be salacious and people would want to watch it. Um, I think that was their only agenda. I don't actually think that they ever thought they were going to get to the bottom of anything. they, for what it's worth, they started off the interview, like you said, as if that was the point. Or rather, Dame did, if you think about it. But I don't think they walked in there that day thinking, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of some things with Dame. Especially knowing that they've interviewed Dame before.
Well, here's why I disagree. Um, they said they had a lot of questions and they wanted to address a lot of the things that were circulating on the internet. So that's one. And that was before anybody started laughing. Two, even when Charlemagne was laughing every time Dame said, "You're cutting me off, and that's going to trigger me. Please don't do that." Even at that moment, when Charlemagne was being very immature, which I'm going to come back to,
Mm-hmm.
um, they were still, Envy was still asking questions. Dame was still answering questions. And let's fast forward to later on when it was a shit show. Lauren LaRosa was saying, "I have a bunch of questions for you, and I don't even think I'm going to be able to get through them." And she seemed very serious, very
Yes.
poised, and yeah, and very curious to get to the bottom of some things. So I disagree. I think they had, all of them, different questions. The only person who didn't seem to have questions was Jess Hilarious. It seemed like she was just there because, hey, I got to be here today, and I'm
That's her
going to let
job.
y'all do what y'all do. And that's fine,
And to
right?
tell him he
I'm
looked
not saying
nice.
she, right, so I'm not saying she did anything wrong, but I'm saying
No,
to
I don't think
me,
she
it
did anything
genuinely
wrong.
seemed like,
I think she did what we expected her to do.
Breakfast Club, what'd you say?
I think she did what we expected her to do. I don't think that just hilarious is a hard hitting journalist. I don't. Sorry, I'm not trying to be
Oh,
disrespectful, but
I don't watch enough Breakfast Club interviews to be able to respond to that.
I don't watch a
Um,
lot of Breakfast Club. But from what I have seen, I don't think that just hilarious is. This is not about her, but I don't think that she's the person in the room that is expected to come with the questions and the facts and get to the bottom of the
got you.
facts. I don't think that's her role on that panel. I just don't.
Okay,
And that, which is
no, I
fine.
understand, but
Um but yeah.
yeah. So my point is, it seemed like everyone else really did have questions that they wanted answered, and an agenda of let's get these questions answered. So I think they had a long list of things, or rather, maybe I should do it this way: a long list of things they wanted to ask Dame, and they didn't get to ask them for
Mm-hmm.
various reasons, right?
Yes.
And so now, were there some other subplot agendas? Maybe yes. Like I think, yeah. If besides the questions, I think yeah, Charlemagne wanted to go viral again. Charlemagne wanted to be an asshole to Dame. Yes, I think he felt like this is the time I can make an ass of Dame, but really he made an ass of himself. And this is what I'm gonna say, and then we could talk about whatever you want in the interview. But I just want to say one thing: I have a problem with the way that Charlemagne conducted himself versus the way Charlemagne talks. What do I mean? Charlemagne is the guy who goes up there and says, people need therapy. People need to work on themselves. People need to understand how to be sensitive with other people. And ain't that what one of his books is about? Therapy and black male sensitivity. Ain't that his whole brand?
He's not sensitive in interviews. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I don't
But that's what
really
I'm saying.
take his
Because
interviews
all I saw,
seriously. Because Dame is
it
not the
seemed
only
like he
person
was
he
there
does that to.
to Oh, okay. Again, I don't watch enough Breakfast
Well,
Club interviews.
let me clear up my point because I don't want that to get misconstrued. Dame is not the only person who he, what's the word, negs, I guess. Like I'm not saying what he did to what he did in this interview was way beyond anything that I normally see clips of, right? But people like to post clips of Charlemagne when he says slick shit to guests all the time.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
oh, like your label doesn't like you, or like stuff like that. He'll say very offhanded to artists that come up there, to people that come up there. He says a lot of offhanded things that he doesn't really get checked on. And most of the time it kind of throws the person off. Like I think it was Tyler. who obviously Tyler's always a complicated conversation, but for the point of this conversation, I think it was Tyler who he said, "Oh, you had a new song out we didn't even know," or something like that. Your label's not doing like we should have had the song in our. He calls people out. That's kind of what I've noticed. I don't remember that
Hmm.
being his thing years ago when I used to listen, but that was a long time ago now. Today, when I see clips of Charlemagne in an interview on The Breakfast Club, a lot of times it's that because people find it funny that he'll say things um, like when he said,
Offhanded
so,
comments.
what happened?
I said offhanded comments.
Oh yeah, like when he said to Dame, you don't deserve to be chairman. That's
Hmm.
like that is what I would have expected. Not what we got, but that sort of thing is what I typically expect from Charlemagne. And videos that I see on social media when he's doing interviews, that's what a lot of people end up capturing when he says things like that. Where it's like, where did that come from? Because it's just But I feel like he purposely tries to antagonize people, I guess, to get a rise
Hmm.
out of them and make the interview more interesting from his perspective.
Mm.
I mean,
Okay.
as Dame
I tried to
said,
do a quick search. Go ahead.
Wendy Williams is Charlemagne's OG, and while I don't feel the need to disrespect Wendy Williams in any way because I do think Wendy Williams is a pioneer. Um, and you don't get any cheese without Wendy Williams. Like you just don't.
Right.
It wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be a genre at this point without Wendy Williams. But I think that yeah, he's very well suited and well trained to do stuff like that and have it fly under the radar or have people praise him for it as opposed to being like, "Yo, you're being disrespectful."
Yeah.
I mean, this was on.
Okay, I'm not bugging. There's an article in 2022 that says Charlemagne wants to transform the mental health care that Black people and other marginalized people receive.
Yeah.
Um, right. So I'm saying that to say, yeah, and in 2023, okay, yeah. So I'm not bugging. There was a concerted effort where Charlemagne was speaking about mental health and therapy in the Black community, and so I'm bringing that up to say, yeah, even NPR did an article about it as well.
Oh
That's a
yeah, because
headline in NPR, January 11th, 2022. So my point is, this is the mental health guy.
it
This
is.
is the
He is
guy
the
who's
mental
talking
health guy.
about therapy and mental health in the Black community. And another Black man is sitting there telling you, hey, in the past, I see that we clashed a little bit because these things are happening. This is the boundary I'd like to set, and we can both do this together. And also, when you do this other thing, it triggers me. And so I'd like to avoid that. I thought that was really, really mature of Dame to come up there and do. And as soon as the interview started, right after Dame said that,
He did it.
when Dame would say, hey, you cut me off. Not only did he continue to cut him off on purpose, he was laughing in Dame's face when Dame was saying, hey, you cut me off.
Yeah.
How long is someone supposed to allow that? Number one. And number two, which one is it? Is it Unshi Wali Wali or is it one mic?
Here's the thing. I think there was a line, right? I think there was a boundary that needed to be respected, but I also think that Dame was being unrealistic for two reasons. One, it's their show and you can't tell them how to run their show, even though he walked in there and did, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is because he right off the bat was like, this is how this is gonna go. He walked into their house and said how things were gonna go. Yeah, so he walked in and he commanded the show, which I get that there are certain people in the world who have big personalities, but honestly, it irritates me when these same people walk into a space where they're supposed to be interviewed and they take over. as as the person doing the interviewing, everybody's not Shannon Sharp, right? So
Yes.
everybody doesn't want their house being controlled by an outsider, right? I think they let Dame go because they knew what was gonna they knew where this could go. But I think it already created weirdness when that happened. And I'm not
Okay.
saying he shouldn't have set boundaries. You can set boundaries, but I just feel like he kind of walked in guns blazing. Even if he was calm and whatever, he still was very much there to debate or set the record straight, however you want to put it. And that's not even the biggest part for me. I didn't think was realistic was you're saying you don't want to be interrupted, and I totally understand that he doesn't want to be interrupted. And I think what him and Charlemagne did, I think was corny. And DJ Envy, because DJ Envy loves to ride on that train and then be like, oh, but I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, after a while, he
Um,
definitely was on bullshit too.
yeah, yeah. But I also think that an interview is a conversation and it's supposed to flow. And while you don't have to interrupt people to have a conversation with them, I do think that when people are giving an interview and there's a moment where you need to interject because hey, we don't want to get this point lost. It's kind of like what Lauren said at one point in the interview. She's like, well, if we don't address this now, then we're not going to get to address it. That is an important piece of interviewing where
Yeah.
you got to be quick and you got to be able to stay on task. You got to be able to engage the person and not just let them talk all the way or you talk all the way. It still needs to be a conversation.
Right.
Dame wants to talk for 10 minutes about whatever he's saying and go this way and go that way and tell them they don't know anything and all of that. And by the time you get to the end of it, you haven't even gotten an answer to the question. I don't
Hmm.
see anything wrong with them as interviewers as trying to control that. And I'm not saying that's what Charlemagne did
Hmm.
because we know that's not what he did. But I think in a normal interview, you can't ask people to not interject or not be able to respond. So you could talk for 10 minutes and then let them go. I don't think that's
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah, I agree with that part. I think balance is key in all things. I'm a master people cutter offer,
Oh, me too.
and I cut people off all the time, including right here on this very podcast.
Same.
In fact,
Same.
when this podcast first started, people used to be like, yo, let her talk. I'm like, all right, my bad, player. I just be excited about the topics, but you're right. And so I understand cutting people off happens. That's what I'm saying. But there's a difference
Mhm.
between the natural flow of the conversation and you just jumping in and doing what Charlemagne was doing, and
Yeah.
also Charlemagne laughing when Dame is pointing it out. Because shit happens, right? Sometimes you be excited, be like, yeah, but you said, hey, let me finish my
Right.
point. All you got to say in that moment is, you're right, and let them finish.
Yeah.
And then you can interject when they finish that point, say, okay, you finished that, let's go to the next thing. And
Mhm.
yes, you got to work together to find a balance. Totally agree with that. But what Charlemagne was doing, until a certain point, then him and Dame both were ridiculous. But in the very beginning, he just kept laughing and laughing at Dame.
Yeah, I didn't
How
like that.
long? How long are you supposed to laugh at somebody before they react? That's my first question. My
I
second
mean,
question
that
is,
triggered me. Me.
but that's what I'm, but that's what I'm saying, and that's why I
But
said that's my issue with Charlemagne in this interview, because you're supposed to be the mental health guy, and here
mhm.
you are trying to purposely trigger. That's what it looked like to me, trying to purposely trigger a man who's telling you, "This is my boundary. This is what triggers me. Let's try
Mhm.
to avoid that."
Yeah. And in the beginning too, Envy was like, okay, let him he already said like he doesn't want to be interrupted.
Try, let him finish.
Let him speak.
And Dame even apologized because Envy at one point said, "Hey man, you cut me off." He said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Yes, you did because I said this." And you said, "He said, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry, Envy."
He did.
So it wasn't
He
like he
did.
was just being a dick. He was trying to really, in the beginning, Dame was trying to really keep it a poised, concise, cool-headed interview in the beginning.
I don't I think if if these people or this person or this place gets you so charged, my recommendation is always don't go. I
Agreed.
under I just think this was not productive in any way. Um, I actually felt bad for the women on the show, not because they're
Same.
women, but because of the fact that they were the two people who really didn't get to say anything.
It was like
Whether
they weren't even
just
there.
yeah, I mean they let Lauren speak for a couple minutes, barely, and not because she wasn't trying.
Right.
And I felt really bad for them because I also felt like Envy and Charlemagne have been doing this for a really long time, and I get that they are at
15
the
years.
top. Yes, I get that they are at the top of the totem pole when we're having a conversation about who's sitting in that room. But I also think that it was a missed opportunity for Lauren and Jess to be involved in a conversation like that with someone who has been in the game for so many years. You know,
Agreed.
I I felt like, why didn't y'all tell them to stay home then? If
Right.
y'all just wanted to play around, then y'all should have told them to stay home.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I was disgusted with the whole thing on both sides. I didn't
Yeah.
appreciate a lot of the things that Dame said. I didn't appreciate a lot of the things that Charlemagne said. But when it got to the point where it was like, you're broke, you're gay, you're broke, you're gay, I don't,
Yeah.
and you're a
It,
woman,
it
and
just
you're a woman,
we should just stop. Yeah, we should just stop.
because all of that you're a woman shit, it paints a very specific picture about what Damon Dash thinks about women. And I did not like that.
I think what it did more, I'm not going to disagree because you're entitled to your opinion. I think what it did more than that, though, was feed into the gender war internet conversations of this is what a masculine man does, this is what a feminine woman does, and I'm not a fan of that shit. And I think that fed more into that. I think that clash and what Dame was doing during that clash fed more into that online rhetoric bullshit that I'm not a fan of. And I think in doing that, Dame was the same level of irresponsible he accuses them of being during the interview. I think by going up there and doing that, he's being just as irresponsible as he's saying they are.
Yeah. I just, there was just a lot of continuing to call Charlemagne gay. If you really think that he is gay, let's say for argument's sake, he is. He said he's not. That's good enough for me. It's none of my business. I really
Envy,
don't
Envy
care.
said, Envy said he is gay. Did you hear that?
Yeah, but we know they play like that. That's a part of they little jokes. It's silly and stupid, but if you really believe, which he's saying he believes that Charlemagne is gay, if you really believe that Charlemagne is gay, then what was your goal, to out him? Because
I
that's
think
problematic as fuck.
after I think after a certain point, yes, it was to out him for the reasons that he said. I'm not saying I agree. I'm only trying to answer your question. I think he said exactly what he said and meant, which was, I don't like that gay men act like they're not gay and represent straight men in spaces where they shouldn't be if they're not straight men. I don't agree with that. I'm only saying that that is what Dame said, and I think yes, that was the after a certain point. I think yes, that was the aim, which was very immature, very inconsiderate, and even being 50, however old Dame is, and still with the pause, it's like, yo, when we gonna grow up?
Oh, I was over that the first time he did it. I was just like, what? Really? Because you can't,
Like how
I'm not
old?
even going to say it, but you can't say certain words, like normal words that we all use, without saying pause.
They came to me, pause.
What are you
They can't
talking
come
about?
to
Like, that don't
me.
even sound like it's innuendo.
When you
Like,
in a business suit speaking about all the CEO and big business things. Like let's just grow up a little bit, folks.
it was the thing that made me say the make that comment about women was when he said, yeah, Charlemagne, is Charlemagne and his girl stuff. And then they asked
Mhm.
him what girl stuff meant, and he said it means talking about people who are not in the room, because that's what girls do.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And then I was like, why are you even doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You
with you.
want to
That's
talk
why I
about
said I don't
Charlemagne?
disagree.
You want to talk about Charlemagne, then talk about Charlemagne, but leave women out of it, because you ain't even have women in the interview. Leave women out of it. Like, what? Also, do you not realize you're saying you love gay people and all of this? You don't realize that this is grossly homophobic? Like, I just don't even understand. Like, and I am
It
not
was definitely
saying
late.
this in defense of Charlemagne at all, because I think what Charlemagne did was gross too. Maybe not the same things, and maybe not the same isms, but
Mhm.
you're broke, you're broke, you're broke. Okay, and y'all had him on your show to what? Disrespect him?
Yeah,
And there was
it
clear
was very
disrespect
childish.
on both sides. But I don't think anybody's right here. I don't think anybody did the right thing in this situation. It's just, after a while, I was just like, I too was like, I've got to make it to the end. I didn't know that you were watching it, and you didn't know that I was watching it, but I thought you'd be
We
proud
did.
of me for watching it. And so I was like, I'm
All
going to
right.
try and make it to the end. And then when we talk, I'm going to be like, hey, guess what I did after work
Right.
today?
And I was Mr. Me Too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Because
when
you
I
were like,
find,
hey, I just got to this in the interview. And I'm like, oh, I've got 12 minutes left.
yeah, yeah, I,
And
but wow.
truly, this is what's really sad to me is we have people in our culture who move the needle. Clearly, Dame is one of them, right? Because why did we both watch something we don't normally watch?
Yeah.
Because of Dame and the way Dame moves the needle. And Dame is an important person in our culture today still, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And so I say that to say, I think we have to do a better job when we know we could move the needle. It's nice to go up there and say you're nominated for a Grammy and you're doing these business deals and explain to people the difference between filing bankruptcy versus filing Chapter 7. Those are all beautiful things. But when you do a lot of the nonsense that came with it, it kind of overpowers the good stuff you were doing at one point. And
Right.
so either don't go there or use one of your many platforms that you have. Don't there's no need to go up there then. And the same is true for the other side. Power 105, whether we watch them or not, they're an important part of the culture who also
Yeah.
moves the needle. And so if y'all are going to have this man come up here simply to embarrass him and try to trigger him, don't have him up there. There's someone else you could have up there. Like Dame said, you could even call a lawyer who specializes in these things and say, "Hey, we have questions about these things. Help us understand how this could happen." Like some other platforms do, who didn't pay us, so I won't say their names today. But there are platforms who say, "Hey, I don't really know how this goes, but I do have a friend, cousin, uncle, aunt who does. And I'm going to have them come up here and we're going to talk so we can have a conversation that makes sense. And so I can learn some things and so my audience can too." And so I agree with one of the things Dame said, which is that, yeah, Breakfast Club does have a responsibility, and spreading information that's not true or saying things that are not true as if they are true is a big problem. But it's not only Breakfast Club who has that problem. It's a
No.
societal problem that a lot of people have adopted today, where we say things as if they're true with no clue if it's true or not. And it made me think about us, truly, because we come up here and we try really hard to say, I got this from this place, according to this place, I read this here, this place
Mhm.
is reporting that. And I said, man, look at us doing what one of the OGs of the game is saying people should be doing. And I
Mhm.
said, man, look at Weeknights. Little old Weeknights doing what Dame says
Little
people should
old
be doing.
weeknights. Now I do
That's
think
us.
he does. That's us. Now I do think he double speaks. and I do think he tries to tangle you up in his words. I do think he does
Sure.
that sometimes. When he talked about, and I don't want to speak too much on this because she's young and she's his child, but when he talked about his daughter and reports that his daughter was evicted from her apartment or whatever it was
In Tribeca.
in Tribeca, he says that if you paid attention to it, he said that she didn't get evicted, but he didn't say that she wasn't up to be evicted. He said that the bill
Correct.
that the rent was not being paid is what he said.
Correct.
If you really paid attention, he tried to say it in a way that kind of sidestepped it, but he said the rent was not being paid. So there is a
Correct.
possibility that they found an eviction notice, or that the people she was rooming with, because she had roommates, said, "Hey, you're not paying. You can't live here."
Right.
And I'm only bringing that up because because I want to make the point that, like, a lot of things that get told to us, we, like you said, people take things and they run with it. People don't listen closely, so you hear it but you don't fully understand it, or you don't actually try to interpret what is being said. Like, you don't try, interpret is probably the wrong word, you don't try to understand what's being said. You just take a piece or a part of it and run with it. And even Damon Dash, as much as he might have good information to give out, even he sometimes says things where you gotta slow it down and really pay attention to what he's saying, because he is a talker and he knows how to say things. He knows how to word things a certain way and whatnot. So I caught that. I was like, dang, stop it.
Yeah. I have a last thought, and then we should move on. And if you have a last thought, you could share it too. My last thought is, I didn't like that he brought up Jay-Z. Usually Dame does not bring up Jay-Z. I didn't like that he brought up Jay-Z. I didn't like the things he said about Jay-Z. I prefer when the two men don't talk about each other. I know people often ask both of them about each other, and then if you respond, you respond. But this time, Dame brought up Jay, and I didn't like the things that he did or how he did it. That's my final thought on the interview.
Yeah. I said to you, um, I don't know, yesterday or today, I said I just feel like this there was something else that came out. We don't have to discuss it, but there was something else that came out regarding someone else, and I said this feels like a maneuver. And on Dame's part, I don't think Dame is a stupid man, and I think he is strategic about certain things that he does. I think that this was all part of that. I don't know what his end game is. Maybe his end game
Mhm.
is acquisition of Revolt. I don't know. But
Mhm.
this felt very much like, because he could have walked out at any point if he really wanted to.
Of
He
course.
got up. He got up multiple times, and he could have walked out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I lost an hour and 18 minutes of my life. And
Yeah.
it's
And
fine.
then afterwards, it continued. Lauren LaRosa posted a tweet saying that Dash was not the chairman of Revolt. And he responded saying, "Don't start your shit," basically. I'm paraphrasing. Well, none of that matters because we have an update straight from the horse's mouth. And so, okay, let me do this the right way. Vibe magazine put out an article confirming that Dame Dash is exactly what he said. He is. He does have that position for a month, like he said. And then it's been put out in other places. And so one of those places was Complex. Complex put out an article saying the same things. And I'd like to read this paragraph to y'all confirming what Dame said. It
Mhm.
says, Vibe confirmed that Dash had been named Revolt TV's chairman for 1 month, during which he will simulcast 25 episodes of his Bosses Take Losses podcast, stream a wide portion of his content catalog, and launch his My Paid in Full docuseries. Revolt CEO Datavio or Datavio, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Samuels praised the partnership, noting, quote, after 30 years, Dash continues to be a driving force in hip hop and culture. And people want to hear what he has to say, no matter how they feel about it. And so there is confirmation of the things that Dame said. I know there's a lot of confusion about what is true and not true. And so there you have it from Revolt's CEO themselves. So
May
again, for those who were not paying attention, Vibe Magazine and then Complex. That is who did it.
may I ask a question though? And I'm not trying
Yes.
to take down what you just said. If that's what has been said, then that's what has been said. Why didn't Revolt release a statement though? That's where I'm confused. I get that they spoke to Vibe, but why not just put it on their Instagram, his Instagram, uh, a press
Well,
release?
Dame did put it on his Instagram, but I guess people felt like
Not,
that wasn't enough.
I mean the CEO. I don't mean Dame. I
Oh,
don't
I
understand
don't
why
know.
it came through Vibe, because it's also not hitting all of the usual sources, and I think that's why, because it only really seems to be reported by Vibe and Complex,
Mhm.
probably because it didn't actually come from like Revolt didn't put out anything. I checked because I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
me too.
he said something about this, all right, cool, but then why isn't Revolt reporting it? Revolt reports its own news all the time.
Right.
So I'm not saying this is
Good question.
untrue. I'm just wondering why that is. um Maybe they weren't ready to put out the information, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't
Maybe
supposed
not.
to announce it when he did. I have no idea, but
Maybe not. Yeah.
I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
this.
mean, I don't know why it's not being circulated in the normal ways. Maybe because Dame Dash is so controversial. Maybe Revolt was not ready to announce it. Even in the interview, it seemed like he was saying it too soon, to be honest. And so maybe that's all it is. Maybe he was supposed to wait, and now it's too late.
Yeah.
That's what was confirmed.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens in a month.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we should all do our due diligence and finding more sources when they become available. But I also think we should support these things that Dame is doing on the Revolt Network.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see exactly what they're about to roll out.
Yeah, I'm curious about the docuseries and his podcast as well.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an extended episode of Weeknights. We out of
So
here, and we
long.
will see y'all tomorrow.
Tomorrow, y'all are only getting 15 minutes. Okay, bye.
That's it. 15 minutes. I'm with that.
That's all they need.
See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.